Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 41454. This is the Dr. Fox Laboratory from the LEGO Unikitty team, which had one wave in all of the sets released on August 1st, 2018, and I mean, I guess it's possible that we will get another wave in the future, but we haven't heard anything about it, and I don't think these sets sold too well, so will not be surprised if this is the very last, first and last wave of sets. But this set in particular retails for $29.99 in the United States and 359 pieces. Not a bad price per piece ratio. And you do also get a lot of the main cast of the show, with Dr. Fox, who's particularly desirable in this set, as she only comes in the largest of the Unikitty sets other than here. And you get Unikitty Puppycorn and Rick, and yeah, as far as the box design, it looks pretty good. You have a lot of different scenes on the back of the box here, because there's a lot of different stuff that you can do with this set, and you also get just a scene of everyone there on the front. But yeah, I did pick this up because it was on clearance for $13, which I thought was a pretty reasonable price to pick up some of the main characters from the show. And here's the build for the lab. It's a pretty decent size for a $30 set, especially if we're comparing it to, just as this is the most significantly comparable in price example that I can think of. If we're comparing this to the $30 Star Wars like scenery playsets that they've done recently, like the Hoth Medical Chamber, Octu Island, stuff like that, this is a pretty good size relative to those. And there's a lot of random stuff to do here, but you know, most of it is contained within the one major build section. We'll take a look at the little side stuff in a minute, but I think we're going to start off with this, and we'll just kind of go left to right. Over here we have this little, and I apologize right off the bat, I might miss some stuff within this review, because there's nothing that really tells you exactly what everything is supposed to be for in the instructions. Like, it shows you some of the stuff, but there's some of it that is still just a little bit unclear, and that I might miss some of. But over here we have this little test chamber, which currently has Richard inside of it, and that is just simply open at the back, so you can just push Richard right in, and he fits in fine. If you wanted to fit in like Unikitty, you can if you do it right, like that. You can kind of get her in there, but no, it's really meant for Richard. And if we put Richard in here, then I think we're supposed to pull this forward, and off will pop this sample of Richard's sparkle matter, which is a thing that they explore a couple times in the show, talking about sparkle matter and stuff. And you know, it's just a little tiny red brick, and then you can push the red button to stop this conveyor belt, and then you can push the green button and push it through. And this is just some of these Technic like 2-pin long connectors, really, and you know, it looks fine. You get a bit of teal and some purple and some blue in here. You got this light which can move up and down to shine a light on different things. And then right up here we have the first of our little robot grabber arms, and this has the 2 teeth pieces at the end, so it doesn't work as well as the other one of the gripper arms that's in this set, but it is cool to get those tooth pieces in teal, and those are not the special puppycorn teeth that they use for his ears. These are the traditional tooth piece, and yeah, you can kind of get figures sort of grabbed onto, but it works way better in addition to the other of the claws, and you make it look like they're both holding a character in place, when really this one over here is the one that does the majority of the work there. And you know, they're a little bit hard to fiddle with, but you can get them in some decent looks. I personally like to just have them up and above, kind of a little bit out of the way. And along this back wall here, we've got this rack of stuff. Currently has a potion on it, which this is a nice piece. I always like getting these in more colors. This is not a new color, but it's one that I think I might have one, but I definitely don't have too many. And then over here we have this little storage container, and inside it's got this claw piece as well as this syringe in lime green, which comes in a lot of the Jurassic World sets, so that's not too rare at this point. We also have these, which you can change the angle of. They kind of look like almost a Van de Graaff generator, like it would generate lightning. You know, they're cool. Ball pieces in purple don't seem to be too common, I don't think. Then we have this one little stickered display here, which I don't know exactly what that shows, but it's got sort of an electrical symbol, and this is just kind of clipped on, so you can remove it pretty easily. And yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to be exactly, but something sciencey. And then the next little assembly is probably one of the better looking parts of the set, and we've got this cool little symbol here, which shows that they're swapping tails and horns and grabbing them with the grabber, I think is what that's supposed to represent there. And then you got some buttons down here, as well as this big red button and this little lever, almost sort of like a joystick. And I think that that is supposed to be controlling this arm over here, which this is a pretty good arm. You've got a good amount of articulation. Whoops, you're not supposed to be able to break that off, but you can make it go sideways as well. And I think this is supposed to be able to massage their horns according to the description, but you could view it as a thing where you're kind of like trying to read their mind. And it's got this little sparkle matter changer or something, and it maybe will show the horn color. Maybe it'll rotate. Then you've got Dr. Fox's ears, and then this little brick, which is supposed to represent Mini Richard, and then Unikitty and Puppycorn's horns here. And that just rotates around. It's not locked in place vertically, so you could move it up if you wanted to. It's kind of a cool little build, and it just looks cool as background lab equipment, even if you don't know what to do with it, which is kind of the case with me here. And then just rotating around the back here, nothing special at all, really. It's only this area where you're going to want to use the back space in order to get Richard inside. Otherwise, it's kind of something that you're meant to see really only from the front. And, you know, for that, I think it looks pretty cool, and it definitely sort of looks like Dr. Fox's lab. And yeah, that was a lot of different little stuff here. And as for the rest of the little side builds, we have this little chalkboard, which has some Unikitty science and Puppycorn graffiti on there, saying Puppycorn was here. But yeah, it's showing some sciencey stuff. And then we have this little robot helper, which Dr. Fox makes a lot of, so this is appropriate to include. And if you wanted to amass a bunch of these, they're not too hard to build. It's only like 5 pieces, and of that, 2 of them are pretty common. And the others aren't uncommon, they're just not stuff that's included as spares every time you get them. And over here we have a little stand for Dr. Fox's shrink ray. I don't know what we're shrinking, but we've got the shrink ray here. Dr. Fox can hold it. She can't really face forward with it because it'll interfere with her head, but she can hold it, and you know, it works. And then Unikitty is here on a little operating table almost, and this would go like underneath those 2 grabber arms, and you'd be able to grab someone and maybe put them onto this table. But yeah, this just helps flesh out the inside of the lab without making everything just up against the wall. Puppycorn here is mostly just your typical Puppycorn. However, he does have an exclusive face print for this set, which has the sort of square eyes and mouth features, almost like he was zapped with one of Dr. Fox's science rays. And yeah, other than that, he's completely standard, but that is a nice new exclusive facial print. And Unikitty is an appropriate version for the show. This is the standard show Unikitty, though, as this one also appears in both the poly bag from the Unikitty theme, as well as the large brick box. But, you know, if you don't know how Unikitty works, it's got this new 1x3 tile, same as Puppycorn, and it just goes onto one of these stamp pieces, and yeah, it's pretty simple, but works pretty well. And I think that this version is one of the ones that is most usable as just a Lego Movie 1 Unikitty if you missed out on those. Dr. Fox is one of the more interesting buildable characters from the Unikitty theme, as she introduced both these double cheese slope pyramid pieces that are 1x1, and in orange. They also appear in the pop-up book in that color as well. She also uses the 1x2 round plate for her little pants. No printing on her lab coat, which is a little bit unfortunate, but she does use these. They're the little Nexonite monster arms that they introduced. I forget what the monsters were called, but they also used them in the. I think they used them in the little guy from the Beatles set as well. And these are in white, which I believe they only are used on Dr. Fox in white, and she has a little bit of a tail here as well, which just used a cone on one of those bar pieces. And they introduced this new weird, like almost oval-shaped piece for her head, which is a good print on there. That piece is only used for Dr. Fox at this point, and it only otherwise appears in the, I believe it's the roller coaster set that she otherwise appears in. And then we have Richard here, who is just a 1x3 printed brick, but he also has a little bit of a stand that is included in the set. These transparent pieces, and no back printing on him. It's just a stand and a brick, and he's pretty cool. But he doesn't attach to a 1x4 section of studs, so that's why he's just kind of floating here. But that's what he does, he floats. But yeah, that's everything included in the Dr. Fox Laboratory set. It's actually kind of a fun thing. Like there's a lot of stuff going on here for a $30 set. I think that the value is pretty good, honestly. The colors are neat. Some nice, hard to find pieces like these, the 4x12 plates that they use for the base of each section of the back of the lab. Those are exclusive to the set, which is cool to have those introduced. And just some other stuff like these dark pink pieces, the Technic pieces, are only used in Unikitty sets, so nice to get here as well. And the whole graphic design of the stickers is very cool, definitely looks like the Unikitty show. And I don't know, I think that this is one of the better Unikitty sets to get if you just want to get a couple of the main characters from the show. It's a little bit unfortunate that Puppycorn's face isn't the standard one. Yeah, I know, it's exclusive, but it's less standard Puppycorn. But you could always just replace that with one of the faces from the CMF Puppycorns. Like the dessert one. That one's not too different if you ended up getting that as well as this set and you didn't want to buy another Puppycorn set. But yeah, overall I think that I like this set quite a bit. It's definitely pretty cool looking. I don't know if I have a good place to display it, so I might end up having to take it apart. But if I had a good space or way to display it, this is the Unikitty set that I would display. I don't know, I just think it looks cool and it's kind of fun. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.